Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Miniature Mondays. So I put back either last week or a couple weeks ago a video talking about our upcoming projects, and one of them was this Matchbox Porsche 911 rally car. It's one of the more exciting Matchboxes to come out in a very, very, very long time. And it kind of showcases the Safari 911 movement, which is getting pretty popular. And obviously, it's a pretty awesome looking car and scheme. It's got a very Rothmans-esque scheme to it, which is also utilized by some other kind of people in the Porsche world with their rally builds. Braid wheels is the one that comes to mind, especially. And it's a great looking car, except on the top here, we've got all of this extra cargo that's white, and so I wanted to kind of show how we can detail that. So again, we're not going to put this one back in the package, so I'm not really going to try all that hard in getting it open, but you know, you can, and then glue that back together if that's your thing. But we'll put it up in the display. So yeah, we got rid of that, and let me move this out of the way. This, by the way, is not a car model. It is a space alien model for a game called Warhammer 40,000. I like to do a lot of gaming stuff too, and I just got back into Warhammer actually because of this kit. It looks so stinking cool. I really had to have it. I actually brought it to the model car show. Some of you may have noticed in our field trip there for the other category, but yeah, it's not done yet. I still got to put all the little orc guys on it, but it's really it was a super fun kit. Something neat to pass the time in between builds. You could say even got the engine blocks orange in there and stuff like that, and little blue nitrous tank. And I chromed the wheels, which is something this kit does not come with any chrome at all. And these Space Orc guys are pretty fond of shiny things, so I thought that they would definitely be into chrome. But anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about this Porsche 911. So we can obviously do a lot of Sharpie work to this, as far as like blacking out the brush guards and things like that. In fact, I can show some of that right away, because the brush guard is kind of molded in 3D, and so just lightly going over the top of it with the Sharpie like that, you can see how there's still blue in between the brush guards, but we've gotten the bars black. So there you go, there's one corner of the nose of the car already done versus the blue corner. But that's not really going to help us up here. You can't Sharpie an entire wheel. Not to mention it just kind of looks funny. So what I would actually do with this is real paint. So model paint has changed a lot over the years, you know. 25, 30 years ago, this was basically all you had, which was testers, and originally they were lacquers, and then they came out with enamels, and these tiny little glass pots, and as you can see, even when they're brand new and never opened, they separate and just kind of turn into blah. Then testers started coming out with acrylics with their model master, or actually they came out with lacquers in their model master line, and then they came out with acrylic versions, which is like this right here, the Acryl. And those are acrylic paints, and these are pretty decent, and this is kind of what I've used forever. But getting back into the miniature modeling again kind of brought me into the Tamiya fold, and this stuff is fantastic. This Tamiya acrylic is really, really easy to work with. And then the lids are actually molded the colors that they are, and then they do gloss colors and flat colors. So they have F in the part number if they're flat, and not if they're glossy. So they really work well. Just about this entire thing is Tamiya, for example. And I mean, they've got really bright stuff like, you know, a lemon yellow here, all the way down to, you know, your very, you know, Japanese army green and things like that. So I've been finding a lot of good luck with these. So this is just the flat black. This is probably the first one you should put in your arsenal. I'll grab a little brush here, and I'm trying to do this. I've got this set up a little differently, so I'm doing it over the top of the camera instead of only looking through the camera. So hopefully this works out a little better as far as showing you how without me screwing it up, because this is the only one of these I have. So I want to leave the rim white, so I'm going to be kind of really careful about, oh shoot, I didn't shake my pot. Yeah, there's still some separation. You gotta do some swirling. Nothing like watching paint shake to make an exciting video, am I right? But everybody seems to really enjoy these detailing the diecast car ones, so yeah. Anyways, so you're taking the brush. This was a 5.0 size. It's pretty small size, but this is considered pretty big for miniatures painting. So where you buy your brushes and what kind of brushes you buy all makes a difference on what size you're getting and things like that. So there we've got the bottom part of that tire. Do this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the whole tire in flat black, and then after it dries we'll come back and we'll do the straps and the bars and stuff, but I'm going to do those in a glossy black to give a contrast. I'm also going to do all the bars in the front of the car. I'm actually going to paint, or I'm going to get rid of that Sharpie and then paint. I'm not going to do none of the final work on this car will be Sharpie. It will all be paint, because I'm really going for a super specific look on this. I want it to look like one of the, $5 to $8 premium Hot Wheels, or M2 or Matchbox or whatever cars, despite only being a dollar car, and doing it by detailing it myself. Obviously it's not going to have like real Ryder tires or anything like that, but I think paint wise they did such a good job on this scheme. Alright, these transitions might be kind of abrupt, but we're trying. Anyways, the flat black is dry now around the tire, and you can see already like a massive improvement. The next thing I want to address is this gas can. You got a couple options here. You could go with like a flat OD green, make it like a military can, but being that this is a racing car, I'm going to go with like a safety orange or bright red to kind of show off some contrast there. And with this stripe here being red, I think I'm definitely going to go with a standard red gas can. So same thing, swirl the paint pot around, get it all nice and mixed up. That's what I've been using fairly recently because it's the same color red as on the work truck there. And I'm back to the same 5.0 brush. Way back in the day when paints were lacquer or enamel only, a lot of people used to have brushes for all other colors, and then like brushes that they would only use with red because it was so hard to get the reg pigment out of the brushes. Not really so much of a concern these days with these new acrylic water-based hobby paints. The red pigment washes out of the bristles just like any of the other pigments. You can see I got a little drip there on the crossbar. I'm not worried about it because I'm going to end up painting that crossbar anyway, so that's one reason why you layer when you paint. And again, this comes from like miniatures painting. You start with the layer that's like the deepest, and then you work your way outwards. So like if you were painting, say, a figure, you would paint like the eyes, and then the skin, and then like the clothes, and then the accessories on top of the clothes. That way if you make a mistake, it's literally on something that you're just going to paint later anyway. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We're starting in the deepest bowels of the roof rack detritus here. And that way if I do get anything on these crossbars or whatnot, we're just going to be painting over it anyway. Alright, so I'll get a little bit more on that strap there. What you can see right here with the gas can. So the gas can, there's a strap that runs the length of it on the top that's holding it down. And we'll obviously be painting that strap. What I want to do is get the red all the way up into the crease of where the strap goes over, like right there. And so my red is spilling over the top of the strap, which is fine because we're going to go across the very top of the strap with whatever color we end up using for the strap. Probably gloss black to match the rest of the kind of bars we've got going on there. And while I've got my red out, let's see, I want to do these taillight areas, but I think I'm going to end up doing that in like a traditional stoplight red, because I do want to jazz that stuff up too. We're not just doing the top piece there, but yeah. So now we've done 2 colors. We've spent, you know, maybe what, a couple of minutes on this, 5 minutes total with the 2 colors, and like look at what it looks like already versus having the all white rack. Like even if you just stopped there, or like maybe just Sharpie markered the rest of the bars, it would be a massive improvement over the factory Matchbox card. It looks so much better in the case or being played with. But we're gonna keep going. We got lots of ideas for this one. So I'm gonna let this paint dry and then we'll be back. And we're back. And again, my apologies if these transitions are abrupt. I'm trying to figure out how to do these videos that are like really multiple take, you know, over the course of days videos, and then put them all together. So I'm learning, and as long as you are willing to learn with me, I appreciate it, and we'll continue making Z content. So we're working on our Matchbox here, on getting it detailed up. Our flat black has dried on our tire. Our gloss red has dried on our gas can. And now we're going to do the roll bar setup. So for this, we're going to do a glossy black. And that is this one, this Tamiya X1. That's the gloss black. Now, let me explain. Tamiya also does this X18, which is a semi-gloss black. And so you've got, where's the flat one? Then there was a flat black too. That's what we used earlier. Did I lose it? There it is. So you've got 3 different options on flatness of black, from glossy to flat, and then the semi-gloss in the middle. And they do all dry a different sheen, and that's how you can get these different various shades. You know, like here on the Orc wagon, you can see we got flat black going on the tires. I don't think I used anything besides flat on this one, actually, to be honest with you. But, you know, you got flat there on the tires. Oh, here's glossy. There's a glossy there on that piece underneath the weapon, and glossy on this. Well, this one's the semi-gloss. So, I mean, you can see there's different sheens depending on what you want to do. So because we did our tire the flat, we're going to want to do our bars in the gloss. Plus, I think gloss is kind of closer to what the real thing would be, if that makes sense in the real life. Rally cars are usually prepared really well, and you know, start off all clean and shiny and pretty and ready for action. So I imagine that a glossy bar, plus it's going to look better on the shelf, and really that's what we're going for here, is making our die-cast look as good on the shelf as possible for as little outlay as possible. I think we'll stick with the same brush, the same 5/0 brush. Alright. So you can see here, like, there's that little red spot from earlier. Remember, we were talking about painting inside out. Now I've got the opportunity to cover that up, and I will. And just like that, it's gone. And we're going to paint up over this hump, all the way down to the tire, leaving the rim, and then coming down this side. Now, trick on painting round things or bars. You see I stood all on this side. I didn't go on the top. Now when you go to the other side, you'll see it's still white on this side. If you do the 2 sides, the top will merge in, or you can just very lightly connect them on the top. If you try painting the top first and then coming down to the sides, you end up with usually too much paint, and it can bleed over and ruin whatever it is you're painting. So just something to keep in mind when you're painting anything that's round. Just paint the sides and then work your way up, as opposed to starting at the peak and working your way down. I'm going to switch to this side of the crossbar and go that way. Now I'm going to leave all the in-betweens white. I could do them like flat black, but then that would blend in with the tire. or I could do gloss black, but that would have been with the bar. I could do other things in there, and I may weather in there a little bit, but because it's not an actual hole, I think I'm just going to leave white for now, just to give it just to give the bars a chance to stand out. Because again, what I'm going for here isn't necessarily accuracy. I mean, this obviously isn't a real car, as much as just looking really good on the shelf. So I'm making some aesthetic decisions there, executive decisions as far as what I'm going to want this thing to look like when it's done. So that means leaving this white that's in between the tire and the bar. I think leaving it white is going to look better than trying to do anything else to it. Alright, get this back bar here. So when you're trying to freehand paint something long like that, it's best to try and do it all in one stroke if you can. It tends to stay straighter than doing like the tiny little like back and forths. I do use the tiny little back and forths here and there, but yeah, try to do it in as one long and easy of a stroke as you can. It will make your line straighter and more accurate. So just kind of a quick tip on painting, and that's kind of the whole point of this particular video series, is those little nuggets on painting, especially if you don't really have any painting experience and you're looking to add detail to your die cast or whatever it is you're working on. So you can see already we're getting quite a bit of different look here. So the glossy will dry glossy, it won't turn flat like the tire did. So you can see that's what our finished product is going to look like on the top right now. Like, that's so much more detailed looking than the factory all white was from Matchbox. So, you know, they gave us this wonderful casting. We're going to give this casting the life it deserves and really throw out all of this great detail and showcase it so that when it's sitting in the display case looking pretty, or zooming across the desk at work, you know, it's looking its best. And it was $1, you know, plus a couple of pots of paint, unless you already have them for other projects like me. You know, maybe you build models or you want to detail more than one car. Get yourself some paints and get set up and, you know, give it a try. I mean, what are you going to do? You ruin it, it's $1. Go buy another one. Like, it's not that big a deal. That's the great part about customizing Hot Wheels and Matchbox and the like, is it's a super cheap hobby. Like, they're literally $1. You can't really complain about that. Okay, so you can see here on the front bar they have like this extra piece that's kind of squared off, and then in the back they do too, but it's way bigger. And I don't want to paint that whole thing black. I think that would really detract from the look of the car. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this line down a little bit more to make it kind of match the front and look more like a bar. A bar is in like a roll bar, roll cage bar, versus like flat plate steel or something like that, so that all of this connects. Okay, I'm happier with that. So now that all looks like bar, but it's not like really connected with the roof. So what I'm going to do is I want it to stand off from the roof, because that's how these builds look. And I'm going to do this little foot peg thing and attach it and kind of get the sides, like the front side and the back side of it too, to give it some three-dimensional character so that it looks like an actual piece holding up the roof. And then I'm going to leave the rest white. Again, I'm trying to make it look like it's a tubular roll bar structure that is standing up off of the roof of the car. That's the look I want. So instead of painting all of that black, I'm going to leave that white in there to kind of show like empty air, if that makes any sense. But again, you know, your car, customize how you want. Don't do exactly what I'm doing unless you want to. It's not a how-to as far as like how to colorize your Porsche project, as much as it's like, hey, if you want to customize your die cast, like, here's some tips on how to do it. Go give it a shot. Alright, do this little tie down bar for the gas can. Pretty happy with that. So that side's looking really good. I'm really happy with that side. And let's do the standoffs on this side with the pedestals. The casting on this side is a little softer than the other side. And that's kind of a Mattel thing. They do that with all of their mainline cars, the dollar cars. The castings are usually a little soft and lacking, and they make up for it with a ton of paint. And just bury it, and that's why you don't see a whole lot of people stripping paint off of modern Hot Wheels cars to do anything like Spectra Flames and stuff, because the underlying really is can be soft, can be weak, can be inconsistent until you get into the more expensive, the $5, $7, $10, $12 cars. Which is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's $1. It's supposed to be a play-thing. It's not supposed to be a collector piece. But yeah, so check that out. We spent, about 10 minutes on that, and we've got, this really. Let me get my little pointer thingy here. Like I said, I've left the white in there to kind of act as air, fill up the void. But we did the bar in black all the way around that perimeter. And then we did these crossbars and the hold down strap for the gas tank. And same thing on the front. We left the white gap. We left the little gaps there in between the bar and the tire. You can see my stylistic choice there. Now another option would be like painting in there black and then painting your roof bar structure a different color, like silver or blue, like the same color blue as the side would be really cool looking. Something like that is an option for you. Again, stylistically, like, go for the gusto, like do whatever makes you happy. This car is for my shelf. You do your car for your shelf, and if you do, by all means, I'd love to see it. If any of you out there are customizing your own cars, I love watching other people's YouTubes, and especially if you're doing this car, I would love to see what other people are coming up with on this. And again, on the front here, we talked about I was doing some Sharpie work on it, but the base on this is actually plastic, and that includes this blue. And Sharpie and plastic don't really work all that great unless it's painted plastic first, like on a model car. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this front brush guard in the black as well, because I've got it out in front of me right now. And that's actually supposed to be partially the impact bumper too. It's like not a 964, is it? No, it's before that. It's like a Carrera SC generation 911, so it's got the impact bumpers, the 74 to 89 or whatever it was. Get that skid plate in black, get that all done. That looks good. So these fog lights here look pretty cool. They likely were a black housing with a black cover on them, if they were factory pieces. But stylistically, I don't want to, I feel like I'm losing a lot of the blue up here up front already. I'm going to leave them blue and then just paint the lenses later, a different color for the lenses. So I'll go back and do that when I do the headlights and the little round fog lights on the top, the little KC lights. I'll do those factory square fog lights too. So yeah, so there we go. That's the front bumper done then. The lighting on that probably isn't all that great. Again, the mirrors were probably like black on the real car, and you could certainly do them black if you want that realism. I'm going to leave mine white. I want to leave a lot of white on this car because I feel like I'm darkening it up, and I like the white on it. Plus, the next time you see this car, you'll see, or like the next video, you see the car, not this detail video, you'll see why I wanted to leave all the white. Looks like the back bumper is got some stuff too. We'll go ahead and do that one while we're here, since I got the black out. Same thing, I'm going to make it look like the bumper itself has been painted blue and that it's just this like tubular brush guard that's black. And again, you paint yours however you want. I just want to do mine in black. Alright, pretty happy with that. So this thing super needs some taillights. We will definitely be adding taillights to it. The engine grill up here, again, probably black. I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. I think I'm going to leave that one alone, or else I'll put a wash in there. We'll see. But yeah, we're coming along. I want to do the headlights and the fog lights next, and the tail light. We'll probably tackle that when I turn the video back on here, and then we'll see what else there is to do. Maybe put some blue in there if I can match that blue, because I don't like that white streak. But yeah, we'll see. But for now, check out that rack. We're moving along. So I'm going to turn this off for now and let all this paint dry, and we'll be back. Alright, got some stoplight red. No. Alright, I think that's going to do it for our little Porsche Rally project here. There's the headlights and fog lights. We painted the front crash bar there. Touched up the blue here on the side. Painted the, you know, we're going to do a little fuel cap on that. And put it right there. Little fuel cap on our fuel tank up there. Got the spare tire, the whole little roll cage, did our taillights. All in all, looking way better. And you know, if you were to put that back in the package now. What's it gonna do? Man, see, like, how much cooler does that look in there than when we started? So that's going to do it for this project. That's detailing up a Hot Wheel or Matchbox car. Super fun and easy with taking the next step beyond just playing with Sharpies or chrome pins by using a little hobby paint, a little patience, and you saw it doesn't take much, just one brush and you're pretty well good to go. You know, I'm just realizing the artwork here is showing silver on the skid plate. I painted mine black and I kind of really like the silver look, so one more thing will mimic that, because the front end of this thing is looking a little dark anyway. Yeah, I like that better. Alright. Now we'll call it done. So yeah, that's our Rally Porsche for now. But this will not be the last time you see this car. In fact, I have another video planned for this one now that it's done and complete. So you get to look forward to seeing this one again. But until next time, that's been Miniatures Monday.